I, 32M, have been married to Tessa, 30F, for 5 years now and we have 2 children together, Reggie, 4M, and Lucy, 2F. We met through my cousin at a friend's wedding when Tessa was working as a wedding planner. We hit it off immediately and started dating. After a year of dating, we moved in together, and 6 months later we got married. We had Reggie a year into our marriage and Lucy came along 2 years later. Before Tessa, I was in a relationship with Rachel, 31F, for 4 years. We met in college and started dating in our second year. Everything was great between us until she got a job offer abroad. Neither of us wanted a long-distance relationship, so we broke up. It was hard, but we both moved on, or at least I thought we both did. Last year, Rachel moved back to our city. I found this out when we ran into each other at my friend Tom's, 33M, birthday party. She looked exactly the same and for a moment, it felt like I was back in college. But then Tessa walked up with Lucy in her arms, and reality set in. Rachel was very friendly, congratulated us on our marriage, and gushed over our kids. She and Tessa seemed to hit it off well, talking about their shared interest in photography. After that party, Rachel started hanging out with our friend group more often. She got along well with everyone, especially Tessa. They even started having coffee together sometimes. Rachel would babysit our kids when Tessa and I had date nights. She became such a regular part of our lives that I completely forgot about our past relationship. 3 months ago, everything changed. Rachel came to my office during lunch break, looking worried. She said she had seen Tessa with another man multiple times at a cafe near her workplace. According to her, they seemed too close to be just colleagues. I brushed it off initially because I trusted Tessa completely. But Rachel insisted that their body language was intimate and she was worried about me. I started paying more attention to Tessa after that conversation. She had been working late more often lately, saying she had a big project coming up. She was always on her phone, texting someone. When I would ask who she was talking to, she would say it was work-related. One day, I noticed her quickly putting her phone away when I entered the room. The doubt started creeping in. I checked our phone bill and found multiple calls to a number I didn't recognize. The calls were often during her lunch breaks or late in the evening. When I asked Tessa about the number, she got defensive and said it was work-related but wouldn't give me more details. Rachel kept feeding me more information. She said she had seen them again, this time at a different cafe. She said the man had his arm around Tessa's waist as they walked. I still tried to give Tessa the benefit of doubt until Rachel showed me pictures. They were taken from a distance but I could clearly see Tessa hugging a man outside a cafe. In another picture, they were sitting close together, their heads bent towards each other. I confronted Tessa that night. She looked shocked at first, then started crying saying she could explain everything. But I was too hurt to listen. The pictures kept flashing in my mind. I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother Mike, 35M. Tessa kept calling and texting me but I blocked her number. She started sending messages through my family members, begging me to hear her out. My parents were devastated. They've always loved Tessa like their own daughter. My mom, 58F, was especially upset and kept asking me to talk to Tessa once. My brother thought I was being hasty and should at least listen to Tessa's side. But Rachel had more proof. She said she had overheard Tessa talking to someone on the phone, making plans to meet. She claimed she had seen them kissing in the man's car. She even said that some of our mutual friends knew about the affair but were afraid to tell me. I filed for divorce and asked for full custody of our kids. Reggie and Lucy were staying with me at Mike's place but they kept asking for their mom. Reggie would cry at night saying he wanted to go home. Lucy became clingy and wouldn't let me out of her sight. Seeing them like this made me even angrier at Tessa for destroying our family. My parents took the kids to meet Tessa twice a week but I refused to be there during these meetings. Tessa sent the divorce papers back unsigned, along with a letter explaining everything. I was so angry that I threw the letter away without reading it. Through all this, Rachel was my biggest support. She would bring food, help me with the kids, and listen to me vent for hours. She suggested that once everything was settled, maybe we could try dating again. She said she had never stopped loving me and moving abroad was the biggest mistake of her life. Looking back, I should have seen the red flags. Rachel was always around when I was upset about Tessa. She always had new information about Tessa's supposed affair. She was the only one who had actually seen Tessa with this man, yet she never had clear pictures of his face. The divorce proceedings started and Tessa's lawyer contacted mine about joint custody. My lawyer advised me to gather more concrete evidence of the affair before the custody hearing. Apart from Rachel's pictures and testimony, I had nothing solid. Another red flag I missed. Now my whole family is upset with me. My parents think I'm making a huge mistake. My dad, 60M, said I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me. My brother calls me an idiot every time we talk. Our friends are divided, some believe Rachel because she has pictures, others think Tessa would never cheat. I'm starting to feel lost and confused. Maybe I should have read that letter from Tessa. Update 1, it's been 2 weeks since my last post and I've discovered that I made the biggest mistake of my life. Everything came crashing down yesterday when my brother finally convinced me to read Tessa's letter. He literally sat me down and refused to leave until I opened it. What I found out has left me feeling like the biggest fool on earth. The man in the pictures with Tessa was her cousin Jack, 32M. He had moved back to our city 3 months ago after losing his job in another state. He was going through a messy divorce because he caught his wife cheating with his best friend. Jack didn't want anyone to know about his divorce until it was finalized because his wife's family is influential in the business community and could cause problems for him professionally. Tessa was helping Jack get back on his feet. The cafe meetings were her supporting him through his depression. The hugs and the pictures were her consoling him after he had just received divorce papers from his wife. The late work hours were actually Tessa helping Jack apartment hunt and get settled because he was staying in a hotel and running out of money. The unknown number on our phone bill was Jack's new number. He had changed his number to avoid his wife's family who kept harassing him. He specifically asked Tessa not to share his contact with anyone, including family, until his divorce was settled. Tessa agreed because she knew how messy divorces could get and wanted to protect her cousin. After reading the letter, I drove straight to Rachel's apartment to confront her about her lies. She wasn't home but her roommate Lisa, 31F, was there, completely drunk. Lisa dropped a bombshell that made my blood run cold. Rachel never actually moved abroad for work. She had a mental breakdown when I started dating Tessa and moved away because she couldn't handle seeing us together. According to Lisa, Rachel had been stalking my social media for years. She knew about my wedding, the birth of both my kids, and even where Tessa worked. She moved back to our city with the specific intention of breaking up my marriage. She had been planning this for months before she accidentally ran into us at Tom's party. Lisa showed me Rachel's phone, which she had access to because they share passwords. There were multiple versions of the same pictures, edited to make innocent interactions look suspicious. Rachel had deliberately taken photos from angles that made normal conversations look intimate. She had even photoshopped some pictures to make it look like Tessa and Jack were closer than they actually were. But the worst part wasn't even the pictures. Lisa revealed that Rachel had been spreading rumors about Tessa at her workplace for weeks. She had created a fake email account and sent anonymous tips to Tessa's coworkers about her supposed affair. She had even managed to convince some of our friends that she had solid proof of Tessa's infidelity but couldn't share it because she was protecting me. I felt physically sick. I rushed home to Tessa but found out from my parents that she had moved in with her sister Amy, 28F, temporarily. She couldn't handle staying in our house alone with all the memories. When I called Amy's place, Tessa refused to talk to me. Amy told me what these past 2 months had done to her sister. Tessa had lost so much weight that her clothes didn't fit anymore. She started having panic attacks at work and eventually had to take leave because she couldn't concentrate. She would cry herself to sleep every night, clutching the kids' stuffed animals. The worst part was that she blamed herself for not telling me about Jack sooner, thinking maybe then none of this would have happened. The kids were suffering too. Reggie had started having nightmares where he would wake up crying for both of us. His teacher called saying he had become withdrawn at school. Lucy had become so clingy with Tessa that she would scream if Tessa even went to the bathroom. They couldn't understand why their family had suddenly broken apart. I tried going to Tessa's workplace to explain everything and possibly help fix her reputation, but her colleagues wouldn't let me pass the lobby. The rumors Rachel had spread had severely damaged Tessa's professional reputation. She was up for a promotion that she had been working towards for a year, but now that was in jeopardy because some higher-ups believed the affair rumors. My family's reaction has been harsh but justified. My brother hasn't stopped calling me an idiot. My parents are furious with me. My mom revealed that they had known about Jack being Tessa's cousin for weeks. They had met him at a family dinner before all this started, but I wouldn't listen when they tried to tell me. My mom had to watch Tessa suffer while knowing she was innocent, and she doesn't know if she can forgive me for that. I've sent Tessa countless messages apologizing, but she has blocked me everywhere. I wrote her a long letter explaining everything I had discovered about Rachel's manipulation, but Amy tore it up without giving it to Tessa. She said Tessa doesn't need my explanations anymore, she needs peace and time to heal from the trauma I put her through. Rachel has disappeared. Lisa said she probably figured out that I had discovered the truth. Her phone is switched off and she's not responding to emails. I'm planning to file a restraining order once she's found. I can't believe I let her manipulate me so easily and destroyed my family based on her lies. Tessa's sister says she's still planning to go ahead with the divorce because my distrust broke something fundamental in their relationship. Tessa can't feel safe with someone who would believe a relative stranger over his wife of 5 years. I don't blame her. I betrayed her in the worst possible way and I don't know if there's any coming back from that. Update 2. It's been a month since my last update and things have taken another turn. Rachel finally surfaced last week. She showed up at my office crying, her eyes puffy and red. She tried to explain that she did everything because she loved me and couldn't stand seeing me with someone else. I didn't even let her finish speaking and called security to escort her out. Later that day, she sent me a long email confessing everything. She had been stalking my social media since our breakup 5 years ago. She had created multiple fake accounts to follow me, Tessa, and even our family members. When she found out about Tessa's cousin Jack's divorce through his social media, she saw it as the perfect opportunity to break us up. Rachel admitted to carefully planning everything months before moving back. She had tracked Jack's routine and noticed his regular meetings with Tessa. She said she spent weeks taking pictures of them from different angles, then edited them to look suspicious. She even confessed to photoshopping some pictures to make innocent gestures look intimate. The rumors at Tessa's workplace were also her doing. She created fake email accounts and sent anonymous tips to Tessa's co-workers and supervisors about the supposed affair. She even went as far as creating fake text messages that she showed to some of our friends as proof of Tessa's infidelity. I forwarded Rachel's email confession to Tessa's lawyer immediately. Tessa has decided to sue Rachel for defamation and emotional distress. Her lawyer says we have a strong case with Rachel's email confession and Lisa's testimony about her roommate's obsessive behavior. Tessa's workplace has also issued a formal apology after learning the truth, and she's back in consideration for the promotion. But my relationship with Tessa is beyond repair. She agreed to meet me last week, but only to discuss the kids' custody arrangement. The meeting was at a coffee shop, and seeing her there broke my heart. She's lost so much weight that her clothes hang loose on her frame. There are dark circles under her eyes, and she looks exhausted. She barely looked at me during the entire conversation. She made it clear that while she's willing to work out a fair custody arrangement, she doesn't want to try saving our marriage. She said my distress showed her that our entire relationship was built on shaky ground. According to her, if 5 years of marriage and 2 kids weren't enough for me to trust her over someone who had been absent from my life for years, then there's no point in trying to fix things. The kids are still staying with her at Amy's place. Reggie asked me during my last visit why I made mommy cry and why I believed the bad lady, Rachel, instead of mommy. I had no answer for him. Lucy still cries when I leave after visits, clinging to my legs and begging me to stay. My mom says they still wake up at night asking why we can't all live together again. Some of our friends are still avoiding Tessa because they believe Rachel's lies. Even after I showed them Rachel's confession email, they think Tessa must have done something to provoke Rachel. These are people who have known Tessa for years, yet they chose to believe malicious rumors over her character. Tessa lost some close friendships because of my actions. My family situation isn't any better. My parents talk to me now, but it's strained. Mom spends most of her time with Tessa and the kids, helping them adjust to the new normal. She says she's trying to make up for failing Tessa by not being more insistent about Jack being her cousin. My brother still calls me an idiot and says he would have disowned me if I weren't his brother. Yesterday, Tessa's lawyer sent the divorce papers again. This time I know I have to sign them. The least I can do now is respect her decision to end our marriage. I've already caused her enough pain by not trusting her. Her lawyer mentioned that she wants to sell our house after the divorce. She says there are too many painful memories there now. Rachel's actions have consequences beyond just our marriage. Tessa's sister told me that Tessa has started seeing a therapist to deal with anxiety and trust issues. Reggie has become withdrawn at school, and his teacher suggested he might need counseling. All because I chose to believe the worst about my wife instead of trusting her. Update 3, final update. It's been 6 months since everything happened and life has changed completely. The divorce was finalized last week. Tessa got the house since she's the primary caregiver for the kids, and we have joint custody. She won the lawsuit against Rachel. The judge was particularly harsh given the premeditated nature of Rachel's actions. Rachel has to pay Tessa $50,000 in damages and is required to stay at least 500 feet away from both Tessa and me. Last I heard, she moved to Arizona to live with her sister. Tessa got her promotion at work. She's the new head of project management now. My mom says she's doing better, she's gained some weight back and has started going out with friends again. We only communicate through a co-parenting app about the kids' schedules and needs. It's strictly businesslike, no personal conversations. The kids are in therapy once a week to help them process everything. Reggie has stopped asking if I'm coming back home, but sometimes he still gets angry and says it's my fault that mommy cries. Lucy has adjusted better than expected. Her therapist says younger kids are more adaptable. She's started calling Amy's house home now, which hurts, but I guess I deserve it. I moved into a small apartment 10 minutes from Tessa's house to be close to the kids. I get them 3 days a week and every alternate weekend. Tessa and I have managed to be civil during handovers, but that's all. She doesn't look me in the eye anymore. When she hands me the kids' bags, she makes sure our hands don't touch. My relationship with my family is still complicated. My parents talk to me now, but things aren't the same. My mom spends most weekends with Tessa and the kids. She helps Tessa with housework and babysitting when needed. Every time she comes back from there, she gives me this disappointed look and says I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. My brother says I got exactly what I deserved. Last week, I saw Tessa with the kids at the grocery store. She was laughing at something Reggie said, looking more like her old self. Lucy was sitting in the shopping cart, playing with Tessa's hair. When Tessa saw me, her smile disappeared instantly. She grabbed the cart and walked in the opposite direction, holding Reggie's hand tightly. That's when it really hit me. I didn't just lose my wife, I lost my best friend, the mother of my kids, the person who knew me better than anyone else. All because I trusted the wrong person. Tessa's sister Amy told me last month that Tessa has started dating again. Apparently, one of her coworkers asked her out. I have no right to feel jealous or hurt, but I do. Every time I pick up the kids and smell a different cologne in the house, my stomach turns. But I keep my mouth shut because I lost the right to have any say in Tessa's personal life. I'm not looking for sympathy or advice anymore. I know I messed up in the worst possible way. I just wish I had listened to Tessa that first day when she tried to explain about Jack. I wish I had trusted the woman who had been by my side for years instead of someone who had been absent from my life. But wishes don't change anything. Now I have to live with my choices and try to be the best co-parent I can be for my kids. That's all I can do now.